The only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
This is the recording that has the entire state of Minnesota on edge. You're listening to Attorney General Keith Ellison in a leaked meeting that federal investigators are now calling the smoking gun for a massive pay-for-protection scandal. The Trump administration has just officially launched a federal investigation into the state's highest law enforcement officer. Things are about to get very real.
On the Keith Ellison thing, I just really want to point this out. He's the Attorney General of the state. He used to be a member of Congress on the Democratic side. He was pretty high up in leadership, decides to go back there. He is on audio tape and he's talking to the fraudsters. He says, I want to help you. They discuss how. They explain that they're being cracked down upon. He says, don't worry about it. As I'm going to use the power of the Attorney General's office to stop that, to prevent that from happening. A few days later, guess what? Pops into his campaign account with campaign contributions from those very fraudsters. And he gives that money back only after those people are indicted. So, yes, I want to see him have to testify.
What we're seeing here is a total breakdown between state and federal leadership. The allegations aren't just about general mismanagement. They're claiming that Governor Walz and AG Ellison actually had prior knowledge of the Feeding Our Future fraud and did nothing. Think about the psychology there. If you're the Attorney General, your entire job is to be the shield for taxpayer dollars. If these Fox News reports hold water, we're looking at a scenario where the gatekeepers were effectively leaving the door unlocked for bad actors. It's a classic case of institutional capture, and it explains why the DOJ is suddenly moving with this level of aggression. They aren't just looking for missing money. They're looking for complicity at the very top of the St. Paul State House.
And we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota. Because this has to stop.
Does this lawsuit have any chance of doing anything?
No, I don't think so. What they're asking, the state of Minnesota is asking a federal judge to throw ICE out of the state and to prohibit ICE from enforcing federal law in the state. There's simply no precedent for that. These lawsuits, Illinois and Minnesota both filed similar lawsuits, have no precedent cited in there. To do that would violate the Supremacy Clause, which says the states cannot block the feds from doing their federal duty.
This is a fascinating legal countermove. Ellison is calling the federal ICE presence an invasion to try and win the optics war. But look at Ellie Honig's face on CNN. He knows the legal reality. Under the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, a state can't simply sue to kick out federal agents who are performing federal duties. It's like a high-stakes game of chess where Ellison is playing to the local crowd in Minneapolis while the feds are playing the long game in the courtroom. By suing the DHS, Ellison is essentially trying to create a jurisdictional firewall. But if the DOJ is already inside his office's digital records, this lawsuit might be a too little, too late attempt to regain control of the narrative before the indictments drop.
Investigation into these fraud allegations is far from over, but sources are telling Fox again this morning that now that Governor Tim Walz says he's not going to run for re-election, the feds are also shifting their focus to the state's Attorney General, Keith Ellison. Why? Because a newly obtained clip by Fox that we just got yesterday, that was from 2021, has Ellison meeting in this recording with a group of people who were asking for his help. The problem is those people, you guys, were then just days later arrested for one of the biggest fraud scandals in the state. Watch.
The only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
This audio tape is the absolute nightmare scenario for any politician. When you hear the donor say, "You can only protect our interest when we have your back," and Ellison responds with, "That's right," the legal definition of quid pro quo starts to loom very large. In the world of federal investigations, intent is everything. This tape provides a direct window into the mindset of these meetings. The timing is also devastating. These individuals were reportedly arrested for fraud just days after this meeting occurred. For a federal prosecutor, this isn't just a coincidence, it's a roadmap. It links campaign contributions directly to the promise of using the Attorney General's office as a personal defense shield. This is exactly why the special AG is calling it a pay-for-votes scheme.
That's part of following the money. There are evidently some disturbing tapes of AG Ellison in meetings with people who donated to him, them calling for political favors to stop the investigations. So we'll see. But again, I don't want to get out ahead of the investigations. It's going to be very methodical. And Chris, I can guarantee you, when the bear trap snaps, we're going to get these folks. And again, we're going to follow the money, whether it's over the two counties here, in Minneapolis, St. Paul's, or whether it's to East Africa. And there's tons of luxury properties, cars that have been bought over there. And how the hell did this happen? How did it happen? Like, President Trump is outraged. I'm outraged. The American people should be outraged.
Scott Bessent isn't using the term bear trap by accident. He's describing a follow-the-money strategy that is notoriously difficult to escape. Once the federal government starts tracing luxury property purchases in East Africa back to Minnesota social service grants, the paper trail becomes an anchor. The strategy here is methodical. They aren't rushing into a courtroom today. They are setting financial traps. They want to see who tries to move money, who tries to delete emails, and who tries to cut deals. It's a psychological operation as much as a legal one. When the feds say they are baiting the hooks, they are waiting for the moment of panic. In Minnesota right now, that panic seems to be reaching a fever pitch. The day of reckoning that Trump promised on Truth Social seems to be starting in the Twin Cities. With $9 billion on the line and federal agents on the ground, Minnesota is officially the front line of the 2026 anti-corruption push. What do you think? Is this a legitimate investigation or a political move? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into these developing stories.